Hello and welcome to Firefly episode overview number 8, Out of Gas. And here we go. Out of Gas is the 8th episode of the Firefly TV series and was first aired on Fox on October 25th, 2002. It differs stylistically from the rest of the series in that it tells an alternate story in 3 time frames: events in the present, events in the near past that led to the present, and events in the more distant past that led to the assembly of Serenity's core crew. On its way to Greenleaf, Serenity suffers a catastrophe that leaves the crew with only hours of oxygen. As the crew struggles to survive, flashbacks show how Mal and Zoë acquired Serenity and assembled their motley band. The episode opens in the present time with a mournful tune, showing Serenity apparently dead in space. The camera moves from darkened room to darkened room, showing no signs of any inhabitants. Mal falls into frame, collapsing onto a cargo bay grate door. He hears voices coming from outside the cargo bay doors. A salesman is saying, "You buy this ship, treat her proper, and she'll be with you the rest of your life." Light falls across Mal's face as the bay doors open, and we realize we're being taken to the moment in Mal's memory when he first enters the ship with Zoë. Mal takes Zoë aboard his recently bought ship, but she is taken aback at how run down it is and can't believe he paid for the death trap. Mal is insistent that it's a good, solid ship and waxes eloquent about freedom from the Alliance and the ship's possibilities once they find a small crew. As they leave to tour, he tells Zoë that he's even got a name picked out. The flashback pans back to Mal in the present time, bleeding. Clutching his stomach, he drags a machine part along the catwalk. The camera pans up into the dining room, a deck above, to a near-present flashback of the crew, enjoying a meal and telling amusing anecdotes from their past. This important scene shows what a family the crew has become, sitting around a large dining table, eating, talking, and laughing. It sets up the rest of the episode for the revelations of how they all met. The ship's mechanic Kaylee arrives with a birthday cake for Simon. Before the doctor can blow out the candles, a power failure accompanied by an odd sound causes Kaylee to start towards the engine room, just as River quietly announces fire. A fireball shoots through the passageway. Zoë leaps up to push Kaylee out of the way and gets hit by the leading pressure wave, which also throws everyone to the ground. Mal quickly shuts the rear entrance of the common area. The engine room is engulfed in flames. Simon can't get to his medical supplies because the ship is sealed up. Mal remotely opens the cargo bay doors to blow the atmosphere, sucking the fire out with it. Back in the present time, Mal continues on his journey with the machine part. A door opening leads to another near-present flashback to Simon treating a gravely injured Zoë, while Wash desperately tries to rouse her. A stunned Kaylee tells Mal that Serenity ain't moving, but Mal prods her to check out the damage. When Wash refuses to leave Zoe's side and man the bridge, Mal drags him away from her and forces him grudgingly to his post. Mal and Zoë speak to a younger mustached Wash, who evaluates the condition of the new ship and considers taking the job the new captain is offering him. As Mal and Zoë head off into the depths of the ship, the first mate expresses her general misgivings of the potential pilot. Although she doesn't know why, she tells Mal, "He bothers me." Mal tells Zoë that Wash has come with glowing recommendations and is already being courted by other captains. Zoë tells Mal that it's all true, but nevertheless, he bothers me. Mal mentions that they've also got a new genius mechanic, causing an unfamiliar, unkempt man who overhears their discussion to be entertained by Mal's praise. Back in the near present, Simon jabs a flatlined Zoë with a shot of pure adrenaline. Another jump cut takes us to the present, where a lone Mal does the same thing to himself in order to continue his struggle. Jumping back to the near present, Kaylee despondently tells Mal that their life support is completely disabled, giving them only a few hours of oxygen. While Simon muses about suffocation, Anara reflects on her love of the ship. In his quarters, Shepard Book is anxiously reading his Bible. Kaylee stops by to reassure him that they won't suffocate. They'll die of the cold first. On the bridge, an angry Wash snarks about Mal's refusal to accept their doom, pointing out that he deliberately chose a travel path that kept them away from any possible contacts. As they argue, Mal slips in a suggestion to get the attention of passerbys that turns out to have a remote possibility of working. When Jane enters to complain about their wasting air, another cut takes us back to the present, where Mal hauls the machine part towards the engine room, as the PA system needlessly sounds an alarm about the failed life support and the low oxygen levels. Mal arrives in the engine room, hollering at Bester, the ship's mechanic, for failing to get the ship underway, when he promised especially that they had a job waiting for them. When Mal arrives, he catches Bester being intimate with an engineering groupie. When Bester finally notices, he explains that the girl gets hot around engines. Mal isn't interested and orders him to get the girl off the ship and get the engine going. Bester starts to spout excuses for why it can't be done, when the groupie, who is getting dressed, interrupts Bester's spiel to correct his inaccurate diagnosis. As she emerges from behind the engine, we see that it's Kaylee. When Bester sputters incomprehension, Kaylee explains that she diagnosed the problem while on the floor and quickly fixes it. Mal is very impressed and asks how she learned to do it. Kaylee tells him she's always had a natural talent around engines, as she works with her dad whenever he has work. Mal offers her a job there and then, and Kaylee happily runs off to wind up her affairs at home. Bester questions why Serenity would need 2 mechanics, and Mal ominously says, "I really don't." Another jump back to the near present shows Mal encountering Kaylee, who apologizes for being unable to fix the ship. She tells Mal about the broken catalyzer, which cannot be repaired, only replaced. Back in the present time, Mal finally reaches the engine room and tries to install the part, a replacement catalyzer, remembering what Kaylee showed him, but only drops it to the bowels of the engine. In the near present, Mal assembles the crew in order to split them into 2 groups, and each take a shuttle in opposite directions to try to find help, however unlikely the possibility of success. With 4 per shuttle, he decides to stay behind in case someone is caught by Wash's beacon. Wash rigs a big red recall button on the bridge, so Mal can call them back. Inara objects to Mal's apparent desire to go down with the ship, but Mal is simply refusing to accept defeat. A flashback to the past shows Inara's introduction into her future quarters and office, one of Serenity's shuttles. In response to Mal's bargaining tactics, Inara confidently announces that she'll rent the shuttle at a discount in order to gain some respectability, helping him in his own less illicit businesses. The two have their first fight when Inara tells Mal that she supported unification. She gives him 2 rules: never walk in on her uninvited and never call her a whore, both of which he would constantly break. Back in the near present, when Inara pleads that you don't have to die alone, Mal responds, everyone dies alone. Wash also appeared to want to say something about their departing without the captain, but Mal defiantly turns his attention back to his injured wife. As Mal seals off the ship compartments, the crew silently departs in opposite directions on their desperate missions. Sometime later, Mal is awakened by a salvage ship, attracted by Wash's beacon. The captain of the ship agrees to help by giving Mal a spare catalyzer. When Mal opens the door to get the catalyzer, the skeptical captain holds a gun on him, while his crew makes sure that there is no ambush awaiting them. Mal and Zoë are being held at gunpoint by 3 bandits, one of whom is Jane. Mal and Zoë engage in clever banter with the bandits, with Jane providing an example of his own limited wit. When Mal realizes how effective Jane was at tracking them, he and Zoë encourage the gunman to switch sides and join their crew by promising him a larger cut from the jobs and his own bunk. Jane casually shoots one of his former partners, Marco, in the leg and holds the other at gunpoint while he negotiates for his new job. Back in the near present, after the salvage crew gives a signal that they're done, the captain likewise casually shoots Mel in the gut so he can steal Serenity itself. While their captain casually chats with his crew, however, Mal finds a hidden gun and pulls it on the captain, ordering him to leave the catalyzer, as originally agreed, and get off his ship. As soon as his ship is secure again, he collapses onto the cargo bay floor, as shown in the opening scene. Back in the present time, weakened and injured, Mal manages to drag the new catalyzer out of the engine bowels and install it, starting the engine again. He slowly makes his way to the bridge, but collapses again, short of the recall switch. As he hears voices from the various flashbacks, he gradually comes to in the infirmary, where the crew is bustling about. A weary but conscious Zoë welcomes him back to awareness. with Wash giving him a blood transfusion. She takes responsibility for ignoring his orders and returning to Serenity, fortunately since he never sent the recall, but she promises not to do it again. Mal drowsily asks if he went someplace. Book replies wearily, very nearly. Inara says with understanded relief, "We thought we lost you." Simon, who is tending to Mal administering more pain medication, reiterates Zoe's statement saying that the decision saved her life. Shortly after this exchange, Simon firmly tells everyone that Mal needs to rest. The rest of the crew start to leave. When Mal starts to drift off again, he asks them, "You all gonna be here when I wake up?" He reaches for Book's hand. Book takes it and gently assures him so. Reassured, Mal drifts off to sleep once again. In an old shipyard, the salesman tells Mal, "Yes, sir. Right smart purchase this vessel. Tell you what, you buy the ship, treat her proper, and she'll be with you the rest of your life." However, he is referring to a yellow rocket-like ship. Mal's attention had drifted elsewhere, as the salesman notices in the middle of his sales pitch. Mal is looking across the yard to an old, broken down, and abandoned Firefly-class ship at the edge of the lot, as the salesman tries to attract his attention. For Mal, it's love at first sight. Background information. According to the DVD commentary, Alan Tudyk took the big red recall button from the Serenity set and presented it to Joss Whedon, telling him that if Whedon managed to get the series renewed, he could press it to call the cast back. Also, according to the commentary, Gina Torres, Zoe, was written out of the bulk of the episode because the filming took place just after her marriage to Lawrence Fishburne, and they went away on their honeymoon. Hey, thank you for watching the history of Firefly. Special thanks to the Firefly fandom for all information you heard today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.